Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome Hollywood After Dark. Today, of course, is 12/28/2021. Of course, what happens here in just a couple hours, we're talking an hour, 45 minutes from right now. Book of Boba Fett drops, so in the meantime, we're going to be talking about Recast T'Challa, Squid Game Season 2, and Season 3 a little bit, maybe? And, of course, a little bit of Sony caving to some Ghostbusters 2016 backlash like a bunch of scared little girls. All that and more here tonight, Hollywood After Dark. Let's fucking go. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. God, man, last night was a hell of a party, wasn't it? The worst karaoke. The worst karaoke I've ever done. And I know some of you out there really hated it, and some of you out there really loved it, which I guess is kind of the duality of man. It's why we're here, to do these kind of things. Anyway, again, sorry I'm a couple minutes behind tonight. Had to wrap up a call that I was on. Good conversation, productive conversation. It's always good to have in this particular day and age. But tonight, we are going to be talking about some stuff. Obviously, Anna Underhaven here says, you better not spoil Squid Show. I'm not going to spoil the Squid Show. I understand that you have 3 episodes left to go. There's a lot to do in episodes 7, 8, and 9. Obviously, episode 6 is a big one. But no, I'm not going to spoil it. We're just going to be talking about the potential of the future. So anyway, let me take a quick look here at the chat. Say hey to everybody. I see Andrew. I see Anthony. I see that James guy. What's going on, James? Geek Studios, Donovan, Willa Jackson, Luke Stone, Dosipio, Frost Family Takeover. Kira, come on. Rainbow the Gamer. Tetrosphere, asking, when does it start? I know I was a little late tonight. I apologize. And then also, Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett drops very soon. There was that leak today that came out that was the theme song, the score to the Book of Boba Fett. And from Ludwig Gundersen, I believe that's his name. The guy did Mandalorian theme, as well as other as well. I didn't know that he did Black Panther. But I love Mandalorian's theme, and the Book of Boba Fett I listened to, and I like it. It's not as good as Mando. It didn't hit me as hard yet, but I haven't heard it in context. And even Mandalorian, if you go back and you watch the original trailer that they put out for Mandalorian, the music that's in that trailer, which is pretty fly, it slaps as a theme. I don't recall that being the same theme. Of course, I'd play that here on stream, but after last night with the 7 or 8 content ID claims I got from singing karaoke, obviously that did not happen here. So also I see Stamina here says Recast T'Challa, Save T'Challa. We're going to be talking about that too. I meant to talk about that last night. A lot of stuff went down. A lot of stuff happened. It ended up becoming a very interesting evening overall. The Comic Binge here says read more comics. I need to. I absolutely need to read more comics. It is something that I want to do. I want to spend more time doing a lot of this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I want to spend more time diving in to discussing things. Like, I've watched Encanto now 2 more times today. I really just want to kind of talk about it on a video. I don't know how many of you guys out there are going to give 2 iotas of a shit about fucking Encanto and the family dynamic and whatnot. I mean, obviously it's very much labeled and modeled after, a Colombian family, a traditional Latin family or Hispanic. I'm not too sure what the correct terminology is these days for that, but that kind of family dynamic, multi-generational, all living under the same roof, this time superpowers. And the one child without, but who has an amazing, exceptional singing voice. Good movie. Lots there to break down, lots there to discuss. And so maybe comics are kind of the thing. Stamina here says, last night your sing-along sesh had me in tears. Man, it wasn't good tears. I'll tell you that. It was not good tears at all. Anthony Belcher here says, both Jarbo and Enosh are live at the same time. I kind of figured that. When the usual group of peeps that usually come and hang out with me are probably over hanging out someplace else. And you know what? That's entirely fine. Enosh hasn't been on in a couple days. And, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I see he's talking about, I just looked at it. I see that he's talking about Kevin Smith and Affleck and whatnot. I don't even know those particular comments, but I don't really want to talk about Snyder stuff tonight. Let's move on from that, shall we? Let's not dive down that particular one. All right, let's see here. Chile says Latino is out Rome and Hispanic is out of Spain. Oh, really? Out of Rome? I mean, I guess Latin, right? I thought I guess Hispanic. Okay, I really don't know the etymology of those words, and I feel like I should know the etymology. Also, I like saying the word etymology and saying it correctly. It's a hard word to say. I see a lot of people in the chat saying that they like Encanto. That's really good. Also, you're right. You're right, Willie Jackson. We had Rip John Madden. I am not a sports guy. If you've seen my body and the flab that's on it, you know that I'm not a sports guy. But I always liked John Madden. I always loved his energy. I always loved watching that guy work. And I always thought he was a great personality, a great energy, a lot of fun, very infectious. So rip to him, 85 years old, passed away today. And then if you happen to be a lefty politics-wise like I do, Harry Reid, former senator to Nevada, passing away is also a very big deal in the Democratic space. But of course, that's politics, and I'm not looking to really dive into politics tonight. Kira says here, Rip John Madden, who will provide commentary for all of the future sports ball games. Well, I mean, look, if there's ever a time to call for the ending of Madden, the video game franchise, now is it. And listen, I don't like cancel culture, but those game series, EA has borked them hard. All right, everything is just terrible stuff. That's all bad. Let's see here. Spherical Man asking, are you sure you didn't enjoy Frank Caliendo? I did like Frank Caliendo on Mad TV doing John Madden. I also enjoyed Frank Caliendo literally doing anything. I follow him on TikTok, and which sounds so it sounds so bad to say, like yeah, I'm a 40-year-old guy over on TikTok following an impressionist that I like. But no, I like Frank Caliendo quite a bit. But it is time to, as Donovan here says, hashtag NFL drop EA. That is one that I fundamentally, wholeheartedly back. Music Man here says those games seem like shit because they are. Here's the thing. You know how Call of Duty just kind of tends to just keep replaying the same shit, right? It's just the same game. It's just like, it's an updated roster, a couple of new features, some good, some bad, some whatever. And then from there, they just kind of sell you the same product, you know? And people buy it and then they're done with it pretty quick. There is no longevity, no longevity whatsoever in regards to the legacy of these sports games, any sports game. You'll be able to find them a month later on sale for $20 because nobody out there is going to pay good money for a used copy of one of these sports ball games. So it's just wait a little bit. Updates, patches, DLC, whatever, and then you get your hands on that one. All right, we got the first super chat of the night. Benson, £5. Thanks, buddy. He says, both on at the same time. So do I listen to Snyder? It's going to happen nonsense or actual facts. I think I'll leave the sources and go with the facts. Hey, man, listen, I can only say that I speak to things from my opinion, and I provide what I feel is a fair amount of information to go back on that. But you know what? People have their hopes and their dreams, and maybe I shouldn't be as much of a dick and squash them. I don't know. It's the holidays. Maybe I should be nicer. And I don't know what Enosh is going to say about anything because we're on at the same time. So there's that. But I appreciate everyone being here. And of course, a lot of you guys, by the way, and I know this, I watch you guys, by the way, a bunch of you dual watch. If you didn't know that, I know a bunch of you dual watch. You'll chat over there. You'll chat over here. You jump around a little bit. And that's great, actually. I think it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny if you think about that, right? So, all right. Let's see here. Let's take a quick look at the chat. Luke Stone here says, at least Call of Duty is fun for a while. Madden's just boring. That's true. Nothing says, hey, let's have more fun than just gunning down your friends in multiplayer. Although I'm just never really into, again, just sports ball. It doesn't get me. Emily, how's it going? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Good to see you again. And then Reed here says, Minecraft is always fun. I could never get into Minecraft. I could never get into it. I mean, like, it's one of those things where the fact that it like had its massive popularity, 11 years ago when it was in beta, and then it kind of went through a bit of a dip for a while, and then now it's back again, full on popularity. It's just insane to me. And a lot of people have made their entire livings off of playing Minecraft. I've tried. It's just not for me. It's just not for me at all. But good on people who want to play Minecraft. Maybe one day somebody will red pill me on it. I don't quite know yet. Jess here says, get into Animal Crossing. It's relaxing. I have Animal Crossing. I'll tell you guys this. I remember when I got Animal Crossing on the GameCube back in 2000, I think in 2 is when that came out, 2002 or 2003. I forget which year. But I remember the night I got it because I was reading a review on IGN and I had a big test the next morning in my anthropology class that I needed to study for. And I'm like, you know what though, but I'm going to go get Animal Crossing because I really wanted to buy a new game. So I go out and it must have been 2003, I think. Anyway, I go out, I buy it. I come home and like I had heard that the game is addicting. I'd read this in the review. Animal Crossing is super addicting. And that's what it's going to be. And then from there, like, thank God that the first 2 hours of the games gives you something to do. And then after that, you literally have to wait until the next day for something else to happen. So I was able to get my town set up, get my little hut. Oh, Tom Nook, hundreds of thousands of bells, get a lay of the land, and then be done for the day and then go to bed. Cool. Now after that, oh my God, that thing was like digital crack cocaine. I mean, that was one of those things where like, if I was a heroin addict, you just inject Animal Crossing into my veins. One of my best friends would actually like, he created he was another, he had another house in my town, and he would call me because he was in the Navy. And then he'd call me on nights I had to work late. And he was like, hey man, can I like go to your place and like play Animal Crossing? And I'm like, yeah, all right, that's fine. So he would go to my house, walk in through my side door, and then just sit down at my bed, like chain smoke cigarettes in my room all night long and play fucking Animal Crossing. And I mean, really, like he would do this a lot. There was even times he wanted to borrow my GameCube and take it to his place so he could play Animal Crossing all night. That shit was my crack cocaine. And then of course, Andrew here brings up Harvest Moon. That was also my crack cocaine on the Game Boy Advance. My sister had a pink Game Boy Advance that she got for Christmas. And when she wasn't using it, I would take it to work. And I even bought that little light adapter so I could sit in my car at night at the drive-in, like in the freezing cold of the winter, and play Harvest Moon or Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, which I fucking put in so many hours in that goddamn thing. Holy shit, I put a lot of hours into that. Now all that crap's on your phone. You can get all of it on your phone. Good stuff here. Thank you very much for that one, Andrew. Let's see. Donovan here says, I'm scared to fall down the Animal Crossing rabbit hole. There's only one rabbit hole with Animal Crossing. You've really got to, you've got to check out. And there's a fan fiction somebody wrote about a person who gets stuck on Animal Crossing. And you find out the dark, sinister secret of Animal Crossing, of the island. It's a great show. I forget what it's called. But there's that. Anthony here asking, does Jarbo have the Switch? Fuck yeah, dude. Got my Switch first week of March 2017, baby. I've had mine since the launch. So yeah, I have the Switch. I've never played Stardew Valley Astro. It's one of those things where I'm just like, I know it's like Harvest Moon. I hear it's really good. It's the timing. Do I have the time to dive in? Do I have the ability to dive in once again? I don't know if I have that. I don't know if I have that at all. It's very difficult these days to get any kind of thing done like that, especially something as addicting as Stardew Valley, from my understanding. It's why I fear another Harvest Moon game, because I could just imagine like that itch kind of coming back up. It's like that meme from the Chappelle Show. Like, you guys got any more of that crack cocaine? Got any more of that crack? It's going to be like, yo, give me some of that Harvest Moon. I got to go out there and milk my cows. Got to get married. All that stuff. Jess here says, you forgot the third rabbit hole, or cat hole, Anka. I've heard of that. I don't know about that specifically. I've heard of it. I've never dove in myself. That's a weird one. You'll have to send me a video on that or some other information on that to do that. But also, Jess, I did find out that your package did arrive at my PO box today. I should be able to go get it tomorrow because the roads are finally relatively okay to do that. And Anthony here asks, what about the Switch OLED? I mean, I don't play the Switch enough to where I'm like really worried about getting the OLED model. If I need to, there's like a $60 adapter that will upscale the Switch games on my TV to 4K, and that might be what I get. I still need to get Metroid Dread, and I still need to get the Monster Hunter Rising? Is that what it was? There's some Switch games I want. I just haven't picked them up yet. Again, it's all about timing and stuff. So there's that. But thank you very much. Let's see. Rainbow the Gamer says you should sing Big Time Rush. I don't know if I know that song. All right. Harvest Moon had sad vignettes like Cliff's backstory. His family died. Yeah, that game fucked with you, man. I forgot the video. What video? What video? What did I forget? You got to tell me these things, man. I thought I got everything. You have to, I don't know, man. Let's see. Yeah, you don't need the OLED. Yeah, it's not much of an update. I know. Andrew here says he plays the Long Dark. I have the Long Dark. I have it on PS4. I've only played it a little bit. I need to drive back into that one. Spicy Sauce asks, have you played Trials of Mana or Octopath Traveler? I have not, but I remember the trailer for Octopath Traveler, and I really, really love the depth of field on that thing. Just the way it's designed looks like. I love pixel art. I really love pixel art. So there's that. Oh, I already saw the Anka video, and I told everyone that we needed Jesus. I mean, to be fair, that sounds like something I would say just kind of out of the gate on a lot of it, but I don't remember. I don't know. Black Ops says, are we doing another? No, we're not, Jimbo. We're not doing another music night. No. I do have shit to get to, though. If you want, I will send you a link, Jimbo, if you want. You can come on in and check out all of that. I'm just trying to find your DM here. There you go. Because we can talk about some Squid Game. Although I don't want to spoil it because some people here haven't seen Squid Game yet, or finished it. I should say finished it. Andrew here says, I have thousands of hours in the Long Dark. Damn, that's insane, man. That's insane. Okay, Astro says here, I have the OLED. It's nice, but only had a Switch Lite before. Oh, okay. See, I have got the whatever it is called, the original model. Do you guys? Okay, so I'll tell you guys a story real quick before we dive on in. When I had got the Switch, so back in 2017, I bought the Switch right before I moved to Washington. And I ended up getting all that. And then I went later on in the year, I flew to LA for an event called Vid Summit, which is a massive, it's like a YouTuber online video, network, video marketing or video filmmaker conference sort of thing, mostly about YouTube. And I brought my Switch with me because I think, oh yeah, this will be fun. I'll be able to, play the Switch while I'm on the plane or whatever, and, do all that. And I'm like, all right, great. So I get to LAX in order to get on the plane to go home. And I'm fiddling with my backpack, and I go to take out the Switch to play it. I don't play it. I think I put my Switch back in my backpack. I think I put it back there. I get to Oakland, which is where my transfer is, and I sit down. I have 45 minutes to wait. I sit down to pull out the Switch to play some Mario X Rabbids, and it's gone. My Switch is gone. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck happened? Oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking the fuck out. And I go through I'm trying to figure it out, whatever. And I get home and I'm still freaking out. The next day I contact Southwest and I file a missing report, a report, lost item report. And I'm thinking this motherfucker is gone, dude. This is a brand new item. This is a 400, what was it? Like $300 whatever, $300 for the system. I got a bunch of games in there. This shit is gone. There's no way I'm ever going to fucking find it again. Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, I get an email from Southwest saying that they believe that they have located my Switch and that it was in Kansas City or something like that. And that I needed to pay them $50 to send it back home to me, which is a really weird thing, but okay, fine. Okay, fine. I end up sending them the money, and I got the package arrived a couple of days later. I pulled out my GoPro and I recorded it. This is the video. I haven't viewed this now in 4 years, so I don't remember all that's there, but this is a real reaction to what happened there. All right, let me see if I can.
Okay, so my Nintendo Switch was gone, as I've talked about on social media. It was missing a few weeks ago when I went through TSA and LAX, and I just got the package, just arrived, that supposedly has it in it. So I don't know. We're going to open this thing up, if I could figure out how to open it, and then go from there. I might need to set this thing down, but I'm a little bit, I don't know. Oh, there we go, the tab. So the story essentially goes, one-handed sucks. I went through TSA, and my supposed to be there. All right, I just wanted it. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. It's my Switch. It is actually my Nintendo Switch. Holy crap. Let's see. This is going to be a horrible video.
Look how fat my neck is. It's still fat, but...
Is it the whole thing? Alright, the Switch is there. The games are there. Are the games there? Everything there?
It's very uncomfortable to watch.
Holy shit. No, it's mine. Let's make sure it works. Alright, there we go. See, it's turning on. The battery's almost dead. It's been a couple weeks. Come on, at least go to the start screen. Alright, I'm going to have to plug it in.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically about it. That is... that's the thing. And I forgot what it was, and I see Jimbo's here. But what happened was, I had thought I took it out of my bag because I was like in a hurry to get to the airport. TSA had taken it out of my bag. I forgot about that. TSA had taken it out of my bag, and I believe they did not put it back in. So that was how. But I got it back, and it still works to this day, and it's still playable and all that shit. So
I was wondering what I was seeing.
yeah, that was an old video. I had less hair, but it was less gray. But as much of a fat face though. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. I've actually never watched. I have not watched that video again since I took it. You guys are the first people to ever see it. I never posted it. Anywhere. But that really happened. Yeah, TSA, man, because they were. My bag had my laptop. My bag had like my laptop charger, which looks like a kind of a small case, I guess. And then I had my Switch in there. I had a bunch of camera equipment and everything in my backpack. And so they just wanted to search through it, and they took out the Switch. Like, what's this thing? I'm like, it's a fucking Nintendo Switch, you bastard. And then I didn't get it back. So anyway, I did though, and I'm very happy for that. So Jimbo, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. I woke up at 9 o'clock today to see Amazon drop PS5 stock, but they have literally no bot protection, so it was sold out in like seconds. 39,000 consoles were sold out within minutes.
Oh my god!
It was brutal. It was a lot of stock drops, but oh man, a lot of people had issues, especially with load times for like Best Buy and a bunch of stuff. So yeah, it's continuing to be a struggle.
Yeah, Anthony here asked if I have the PS5. I don't have the PS5, but I did hear about the stock drop today, and I woke up this morning feeling really good about last night. I'm like, man, I did pretty good. Maybe I could buy myself a PS5 as a nice way to, whatever. I'm like, because you know how it is. You're like, oh man, I had a really good night. Let me just go out there and do this. And then, I ended up not, because everything was sold out. I'm like, all right, that's good. I don't need it. That's the whole thing, is I don't need it right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait for
that. I have a Series X, but I want to play Spider-Man. I want to play God of War. There's so many games I want to play on PlayStation, and it's like now I'm like in the hunt.
Oh yeah. Well, no, those are both very good games. You know, but you could also just get a PS4.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I want to be able to play like the newer games that are coming out that connect to it. Like, I'm gonna play Spider-Man 1 and then Miles Morales. I want to be able to play 2 because it connects it, and I want to play like Wolverine, all the other Marvel games that they're developing. Same with the new God of War. So it's like, I mean, I would get a PS4, but they sell out just as fast as PS5s. And it's crazy because it's like no one can get a PS5, so all these scalpers are just buying out PS4s just to, like, piss people off for no reason.
Yeah. It's I mean, people they're making all this money on it. Some guy I'd read an article, or at least I think I saw a headline where this guy admitted that he had sold he had scalped enough PS5s to make like $2 million or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, like, hell no.
The fact that people even buy like at those jacked up prices, like on Walmart, they literally allow people to sell their consoles on there for like up to like thousands of dollars, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's pretty terrible how that whole thing plays out. I was lucky enough to get my Xbox Series S because I found one in the wild, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy it.
They're always
well, they weren't in stock when I got it, so I felt kind of good about myself.
When did you get your Series S?
Oh man, months ago. Like, I don't remember when I got it. It's I think summertime.
I got mine, my Series X. I'm like, I have so many physical games. I need to get the X, and plus, like, I just want to get the X because why not? And I got it during the pre-order, so when it first came out, it all sold out on Microsoft, on so many other different sites, and then Amazon did a mysterious drop like an hour later, and I somehow was able to cop it. I don't know how, because it's Amazon. They have no bot protection, which is just, like, you would think Amazon, with how much money and how much, like, their company is all online, you'd think they would invest in some sort of bot protection, but they don't. Even though, like, all the stock drops now are Amazon Prime priority, but so many people have Prime, it literally does nothing, and bots still got it all up. But yeah, cool.
That's why I don't. I mean, it's all about this. It's all about the shortage of supply chain stuff that you just have to kind of go, all right, well, you know, look, I have so many unplayed games from PS4 and Xbox. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I have stuff to go back to. Even right now, I'm working on, as I've mentioned, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and I'm like 85 hours into that game, you know, and I'm just kind of now because I do a lot of exploration and stuff on those. Ubisoft titles, and now I'm just kind of getting to some of the single player missions, which are actually really good. They're actually like surprisingly pretty decent. So I've just been playing that like in my downtime, and you know, and I'm like, all right, well, if I get something else, I get something else, but I'm not looking to kind of expand out my library. Like, I want to find more times to watch movies, you know, to kind of get back into watching stuff. I keep watching Encanto on fucking repeat because I have children. But, like, you know, there's all that. Hold on. Dat Boy22 says my cousin got scalped PS5 and paid $1,200 for it. Jeez, dude, what? Come on.
You can't give in to these scalpers. Like, that's the thing. If people keep giving in and buying scalped PS5s, and it's honestly insane. It just encourages people to do it more, and it's nuts. But I've been currently playing Cyberpunk on my Series X.
Oh, I have it. See, I have it digital for my PS4, and I was all like, all right, because like I got it digital for PS4 because I'm like, I'm gonna upgrade to the PS5. And then when I get, because I have like The Witcher on PC, on Xbox, and on PS4. I've got it on all the platforms. Nice. Not on Switch though. I don't have it on Switch.
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
okay on Switch.
Yeah, I don't even like, I'm like, why even waste my time with this? It just seems so weird. But then I'm like, okay, Cyberpunk is a CD Projekt Red. They're going to do updates. They're going to do patches. There's going to be DLC. It's going to be lit. It's going to be great. And I bought it. And then like everyone could return it. And I'm like, I could return this and get my $60 back and then buy it later. But I'm like, you know, like I'm going to, you know what? I think CD Projekt Red has earned enough goodwill from me that I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And maybe that was wrong of me. All right, maybe that was wrong. But now that I've got the Xbox Series S, I've kind of been feeling the itch to play fucking Cyberpunk again. And I'm like, man, like, I don't want to drop another 60 bones on that. It's on sale right now digital for like fucking $30, I think. And I'm like, I ain't going to pay $30 that. You drop it to 20, I'll buy it.
It should be
right?
come on for like PS4s and Xbox Ones. It should be way less because even on my Series X where I have minimal issues, I was just playing it like 10 minutes ago. I complete a mission. I call in my car, and because one of the gigs requires like me to escort someone to a fixer's car, and then the fixer's car takes off, it runs slowly right into my car. My car flies in the air and then goes below the map and completely wrecks it. It's still drivable, has no doors, scratches all around it. It looks like an utter piece of shit car now, and I'm like, yeah, this game needs a lot of work. Like I've had like playing this game now. They have so many more bugs than when I first played it. When I first played it, I had literally no issues except launch day, and all the good glitches that they had in the game, such as there's this one like projectile rocket you can use, like that's an arm modification with the tranquilizer, and it just takes out everyone instantly. They nerfed that, and a money glitch where you can get millions of dollars with a certain painting. They nerfed that as well, and they got rid of it. You can't even do the same glitch anymore. It's like, bro, you're telling me like I can't even call in my car without it being destroyed, but yet, it's just like I just don't get it. Like all the good stuff they took out, but yet they left all the shit stuff. So it's like, oh, this game has a lot of work to do.
Well, and they hired modders finally to work on it. So like the modding community has done pretty well PC wise, and honestly, they're just like they bit off more they can chew. I think it needed like another 2 years of development.
But fans and also executives with that game, like me, Meta, like on Meta's channel, we talked about this forever. It's like fans were like complaining about it not dropping because it kept getting pushed back. But it's like you realize when they push it back for a reason, just because you want it so bad. You want a finished game. You don't want something like this, and this is gonna be like a huge thing going forward for certain companies.
But did you see the Kotaku article that just dropped about Cyberpunk saying that it's actually like the most played game of the year, despite all of its problems? Yeah,
such it's a story. Like, the story of this game is actually really good, and like all the different side missions are actually really fantastic, and I absolutely love the story. But if it just didn't have as many bugs, and if it was a polished and finished game, I think people will really enjoy this game. But I think just because there's so many glitches and bugs throughout this whole game, it just really deterred people from like actually wanting and falling into the story and like enjoying this game. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I still want to go back and play it because I just kind of have this weird like kind of like desire to punish myself. But Andrew here for $5, man, thank you, asks, explain to the younglings the splendor of the N64 at launch. Be verbose, touch on Shadows of the Empire, Mario 64, and piloting, which what you mean by that is pilot wings. So I'll be honest with you guys. I did not get a Nintendo 64 right away. I couldn't afford it. And I got my very first job in the summer of 1997, where I literally worked in a factory. You know how you always hear people when like the older people like, I was working in a factory. Blah, blah. I was literally working in a fucking factory. It was a label making factory. They made like stickers for like pagers and shit. And I worked there and I made $6 an hour. It was 50 cents above minimum wage. And I finally saved up I think it was like $150 to get the Star Fox 64 edition of the Nintendo 64, complete with the Rumble Pack. And I took it home and I plugged it into my 13-inch TV VCR combo. And my God, that was a glorious day. Because not only did I get that, I ended up getting like Mario 64 and Pilot Wings. And I love those games. And I'll tell you why I loved Mario 64. And this is the honest truth there. My grandparents had retired. My grandmother had most recently retired. And they built a house down on the Oregon coast. And it's a great little house that is no longer in the family, but maybe one day I can buy back. That's a goal. They needed something to do, and especially during like the winter months, because my grandmother gets seasonal affectiveness disorder. I also get seasonal affectiveness disorder. And so her kids, my mom, my aunt, my uncles, got together and they decided to pool the cash to buy her a Nintendo 64, because all the grandkids had a Nintendo 64. And if they had a Nintendo 64, then that would be something that the kids could do while they were there and my grandmother could play the game. My grandmother, who I thought would hate the idea, plugged in that fucking console and she played Mario 64 like a champ. Like my grandmother had all 120 stars. she could ace any level in that game. I went down to visit one time and I was like, all right, grandma, like I'm playing it. She's showing me one of the missions or one of the levels and I'm having trouble getting this star. And she's like, no, you gotta jump there, backflip there, jump there, do this. And I'm like, I just can't get it. And she's like, get out of the way. And she takes the controller and she does it for me. My 60 some year old grandmother at the time is just like kicking my ass in Mario 64. And my grandfather really liked Pilot Wings because he liked he liked just playing the game and doing all that stuff. So the N64 and Mario and Pilot Wings actually means a great deal to me because of the time I got to spend playing that with my grandparents, who are both sadly no longer with us. And again, like, I mean, I had the best time playing, GoldenEye with my friends. Of course, there's Shadows of the Empire, which came out. I forget when that came out, but that was a whole big thing. That was a novel, a soundtrack, a comic book, whatever the fuck, a game. I mean, they made it this big thing, and like getting Star Wars on there. Rogue Squadron, for example, was big. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I mean, Majora's Mask, dude. The N64, everyone's like, the PlayStation was better. The PlayStation was shit compared to the N64. And yeah, I'm counting Final Fantasy bullshit fucking 7 in that one. That game's boring as shit. Metal Gear Solid, more like Metal Gear my ass. I liked that stuff. I don't know if you've ever played the N64.
No.
Oh, well, you gotta do that. Rational Skeptic here follows it up with another $5. Thanks, buddy. It says here, tell us when you got your Sega Saturn and popping in the first Resident Evil game, which had the live action cutscenes. Here's the thing with that. I never owned a Sega Saturn. And the only time I've ever owned legitimately owned a PlayStation was back in the year 2000. IGN ran a contest on their website to win a PlayStation and Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, along with some of the toys. And I won the contest. So they sent me a PlayStation with Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. And I took them down to fucking GameStop. And I traded in all games, the games in the console, just so I could afford 2 Dreamcast games. I think I got like Metro 3D, which is a great little space shooter. And then I also got Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. And I sold off the PlayStation. Because I've just never been a PlayStation guy. I've just never been. I've borrowed my friends' PlayStations. I've played games on there. But it literally took me until like the PS4 to really kind of dive in to the PlayStation brand. Because it just never spoke to me. Yeah, so that's my story about that one. Andrew Dunbar here for $2 more. Just do a barrel roll. You also got a boost to get through, buddy. Also got a boost to get through. Yvonne here says you had a sad childhood. I mean, maybe. Probably, I guess. Dan the Man here says Perfect Dark was killer. Hell yeah, it was, dude. My very first E3 was 2000. And this was in May of 2000. And it was right before the release of Perfect Dark. So when I went to E3, they had like a Conker's Bad Fur Day bar exhibit. They had an exhibit for the bar. I was 21 enough to get in. I was only 18 and wouldn't let me in. But they did have Perfect Dark just Perfect Dark playable on the N64 there. And so I got to play Perfect Dark about a week before it came out. And obviously when I got it, holy shit, that game dominated my life. I love that game so much. Let's see. Trained Old School said, I used to cross the border from San Diego into Tijuana and buy pirated Dreamcast games at the swap meets for cheap. Oh, dude. Oh my God. You could just burn, you could burn that shit, to a CD. That's how I got, my buddy found him online and he got us Phantasy Star Online like months in advance before the English edition, before it launched here in the States. So I was playing it, but it was only single player. So you can only get so far in that game, single player. I think I made it to the end of World 3 out of 4 before I just couldn't progress any further and I just kept dying. But I mean, yeah. And I bought the game when it came out to play online, but I couldn't transfer over any of my gear. So, yeah, I've done all that stuff. Luke here asking if I played Halo Infinite. I have a bit of the campaign and a bit of the multiplayer. I like it a lot. I just have not been able to sit down. And every time I sit down to like get ready to play it, I just kind of feel like playing Ghost Recon because it's like, I don't have to think much about it. It's not like I do it to relax at the end of the day and not like dive into a game mode where I have to really think about stuff. It's just like, sniping people. So there's that one. But all right. Let's see. Unrelated, how was your guys' Christmas? Mine was pretty good. How was yours, Jimbo? Your Christmas good?
Oh, sorry, I was muted for a second. Yeah, my Christmas was pretty good. Yeah.
Nice, man. I would argue yesterday was definitely my Christmas. And thank you guys for that. Mystic here says, I hated Dreamcast. It was a waste of time. The fuck are you talking about? Well, no, I mean that legitimately. What exactly are you talking about? I mean, look at the launch titles for that system. $99.99, man. That game, that thing dropped the day I started my senior year of high school. Like, I went to the midnight release to pick up my copy of the Dreamcast and went home and started playing Power Stone, which I fucking hated, and actually took back the next day to get Ready to Rumble Boxing, which I liked a lot more. But you had the Sonic Adventures game. I think it was Sonic Adventures or whatever the Sonic game was, complete with the VMU. That was like the little mini Tamagotchi, because you could find these eggs in Sonic and like port them into your VMU, which was your virtual memory unit. This little like portable keychain, fucking Game Boy type thing. It was a memory card with a little LED with a little like screen and controls and shit. And you could take your little your little Tamagotchi sort of thing, and like take it on adventures and stuff to level it up, to bring it back into the Sonic game to fight with it or some shit. I forget. But you had a bunch of stuff come out then, man. Like, there's a lot of great games on the Dreamcast. I don't mean waste of time. Man, I remember when the Dreamcast launched the very first online game for consoles. It was NFL 2K1. I am not a sports person, but I went and bought NFL 2K1 so I could play it online. And I did. And it was glorious. And it was like 128K. That's what the modem was. It was 128K. It was so bad. So bad. All right. Let's see here. Reed asking, have I played Shadow of War, a Lord of the Rings game? It was fun, but it was a free game, so I didn't finish all the way. I've beaten Shadow of Mordor, which was really good. And then Shadow of War was, I do have it. And I played a lot of it, but like it got to that weird thing where like the ending was, they said was behind a paywall, which is kind of weird. So, there's that. Okay, Rational here asks, what about getting an original Xbox with a Duke controller and popping in Halo and storming the beach on the silent cartographer level? Yeah, I remember that. I remember, well, my first time, I've told the story, but my very first time playing Halo was at E3 2001. It was a very no-frills booth. It was just in the back of one of the halls. I played Halo Capture the Flag on Blood Gulch. We played that multiplayer, which was the shit. I came home and I converted a bunch of friends into getting it. And it took me a couple years. I actually did not get my Xbox until my 21st birthday. So March 26th, 2003. I got a refurbished model and I got Halo. But leading up to that time, one of my friends had it and we would always go to his place and we would play it. So I still played it. I played the multiplayer. We did the co-op stuff. But I remember when I got it, I took it home, I plugged it in, and I played it for like the very first time. I played Halo a lot of Halo. So yeah, I've definitely spent a lot of time playing video games, and you know what? I don't regret anything over that. In fact, let me ask you this though, Jimbo, what game are you playing right now?
The one I'm currently playing is Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds. Are you literally playing a game right now in this instant?
No.
Okay, I thought I heard like a controller going off. But...
Oh no, I was just exiting. I have Disney Plus up, so I was.
Oh yeah, we have an hour to go, so we might as well get into the news. Having spent an hour having a conversation, which is great. Oh, Donovan here says that they're playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Oh yeah, that's a fun game. I started that a little bit, and
it's love the raids. Like the raid, like when you can exit the main map and go to the other maps, and then raid and to get resources and stuff. Like I've maxed out my ship. I love that stuff because you don't have to think about it. There's no story. It's literally just go like one location, next location, clear it out, get your loot, move on to the next one, which then is basically just like what I play an Ubisoft title for. You know, the story might be good. In the case of like, you know, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the story's good. AC Valhalla, the story's good. You know, but again, when you get into that gameplay loop, like it's really just like, look, give me my character, put me in front of enemies, let me kill enemies, rinse, repeat. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's really about it. Andrew here for $2 says The Long Dark rules. I'll have to check that one out. I have to get that. Dat Boy here says, I just started Far Cry 6. Nice. I'm going to wait for that one to go on sale. I want them to patch it first. So speaking of, okay, we'll just dive into the first article of the day here. And that, of course, is Save T'Challa. Fans urge Marvel to recast Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther. This is a very interesting story. Have you been following this at all?
No, I just been hearing that just various small things going on with Black Panther too. That's kind of interesting.
Well, so Chadwick passed away like 2 years ago. Or no, a year ago, I think. A little over a year ago. Or maybe it was 2 years. I forget. It's been a little bit of time. My mind is not all the way there. Okay, he passed away, last year. It was last August. And Marvel was, very quick to like point out we're not recasting him. We're not doing that. And, they're going to figure out another way to go about it. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was obviously going to be pushed back and all that stuff. But a lot of people, myself included, made the commentary at the time. Recast him. Or give it to M'Baku. Give it to M'Baku. Give it to Shuri. Give it to Lupita Nyong'o's character. So there's definitely all that. Where, a lot of people out there, and I get it. Marvel understands. Kevin Feige understands that Black Panther is very important to the African American community and also the African community at large, and it was a cultural thing. It was very much a phenomenon. It very much moved the needle to $1 billion, and it put a lot of representation on the screen, and it was a good movie. It was a very fun movie. So I get why they would not want to recast it. But now, in the wake of everything going on with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, with the COVID, with Letitia Wright and the supposed anti-vax rhetoric she's putting on, saying on set, there's now this renewed call to just recast T'Challa. And so there's a petition here that says that the legacy of T'Challa as the Black Panther shouldn't end with Chadwick. It should start with him. Continue what he started. Recast T'Challa. Save T'Challa. These are campaigns that are urging Marvel to reconsider writing Boseman's character out of the MCU. Fans previously launched a Change.org petition in support of recasting the role, not to replace Boseman, but to continue the portrayal of T'Challa in the MCU. Going on to say here that if Marvel Studios removes T'Challa, it would be at the expense of the audience, especially black boys and men who saw themselves in him. That also includes the millions of fans who were inspired by the character as well. And here's the thing with that. They're right. They are absolutely right. When you look at representation, especially positive black male representation in media, that is something that is woefully underrepresented in my mind, in my opinion. And so if black boys and men see themselves in T'Challa, especially with how Chadwick embraced the character, all for positivity, all for love, Wakanda forever, right? Like he was loved, and with good reason. Like that was great. He was a great guy. By all means, like continue the character, and I feel like that's right. I agree with Stamina here that says recasting is about T'Challa specifically, whether he is the Black Panther or not. Sure, I get that, but I do feel like recast Jarbo. Shut up. Shut up. Shut the fuck, dude. Just for that, I'm not performing tonight. You're gonna go to bed with blue balls. Anyway, last December, Feige announced that Marvel would not recast Boseman as T'Challa because the late actor's portrayal is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. Instead, Feige said, to honor the legacy that Chad helped us build, we want to continue to explore the world of Wakanda and all the rich and varied characters introduced in the first film, of which there are many. And there's a very interesting world to Black Panther, and Wakanda was cool. So to see more of that's going to be nice. You know, and so then another producer here, so I think Nate Moore, says, you will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe. We couldn't do it. When Chadwick passed, there was a real conversation we had with Ryan Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks, it was minutes of discussing how we move the franchise forward without this character, because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa on the screen is tied to Chadwick Boseman. But see, that mentality makes sense from a positive PR perspective, right? Obviously, they don't want to do it. Obviously, they want to, you know, maintain what they had originally done, because there are people out there who were grieving at the time. And if you would have come out and said, we're just going to recast him, that would have been a bad move.
That would have been, oof.
Yeah. Even though I'm all for recasting.
They can now
that it's been time that's passed. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, if Chadwick Boseman would have died, and then Marvel's like, we here at Marvel Studios are very sad to report the passing of our friend and brother Chadwick Boseman. In order to continue the legacy of his character, we will be announcing a recasting for T'Challa for Black Panther 2 starting next week or some shit. It would have been the most tone deaf fucking thing ever. But people legitimately cried over Chadwick Boseman's death.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just sitting here thinking, like, technically they don't, like, are they talking about recasting, like, the character T'Challa, or overall passing the mantle of the Black Panther to someone else? Because if they're trying to recast T'Challa, that's going to be some issues, because, I mean, it would be easier to them just to pass the mantle of being the Black Panther to someone else, and then figure out a way to either just kind of, like, shift T'Challa's character out of it, sadly, or just, like, kind of put in the background. Because, I mean, the Black Panther is not specifically T'Challa. It could be anyone. That's the thing.
I see. Well, that's true. I mean, I think Black Panther could be anybody, and that's kind of the whole point of you know, the movie, I guess. I mean, there's legacy, but at the end of the day, it does transfer from one person to another. That being said, I feel they should recast T'Challa to become the Black Panther. Or if that's not going to happen, you have to give it to somebody that the audience knows and that the audience trusts. And since Sam Wilson is Captain America, and they sure as fuck ain't going to make the Black Panther Bucky Barnes, the only logical choice on that one, and I mean this, the only logical answer to all of this is straight up M'Baku. That's
solid Black Panther.
He'd be a great Black Panther, man. One above all says here, a variant T'Challa is a bad idea and lazy, and I agree. I agree. I do not want there to be that. Now, Mad 13, it's true. Now, Mad 1306 makes a great point. Says here, the actor who played Spartacus died, and they recast him. You got to continue the character story. Now, Andy Whitfield, that was a sad story. Because like the guy had cancer, and so they did the first season of Spartacus. He had cancer. They postponed his return to the show. So the second season of Spartacus is a prequel season to the show. And then during that time, he got treatment, and he actually beat cancer. And then the following year, the following summer, he was at Comic-Con promoting Spartacus. They actually had a panel. I was there. I saw it. And it was so cool seeing the guy. I was so happy to see him. And then the cancer came back and he passed away quickly, unfortunately. And so they replaced him with Liam McIntyre, who did a good job for the final 2 seasons. I think he owned the role well enough by the end. But you're right. You gotta recast in these situations. But they were also at a place, where they hadn't filmed anything yet. And his arc for Infinity War and Endgame had already happened. Spherical Man here says, what about Terrence Howard? No, not at all. Now, apparently Chadwick Boseman's brother actually agrees with all this. He says to TMZ that Chadwick thought T'Challa was bigger than just himself as one guy and thinks that they should keep it going. And so it really is an interesting situation where we're gonna probably end up seeing something along those lines down the road. Now, Rational Skeptic here says they recast Rhodey and Bruce Banner in the MCU. Well, I mean, there's a reason why they recast both of those characters. They recast Rhodey because Terrence Howard was the highest paid actor on Iron Man, and he had a lot of demands for Iron Man 2 that they just didn't want, mostly about money, and they didn't want to deal with that. So they recast him with Don Cheadle, who I ultimately think was a better choice because I love me some Don Cheadle.
True.
But with Bruce Banner, that again was a casting issue because Edward Norton wanted more. He didn't even do the press junket for the Incredible Hulk. He didn't do any press for it because he was mad at the cut because he wanted to do a little bit different. And they ultimately chose to recast him with Mark Ruffalo, because Mark Ruffalo is a much more, malleable guy. He's a much more like interesting dude. I don't want to say interesting. I think Edward Norton would have been very compelling, but he can play the part. He can play the part that they need, and it worked out real well. So there's that. Now Yvonne here says if Peter Parker is Toby, Andrew, and Tom, we can have another T'Challa. That is true, but the thing is though, how often are you going to want to, maybe open the multiverse and go through that particular way? I don't think they should. So there's that. Yeah, it was a different cut. You're right, Music Man. You're right. Willie Jackson says David Bana was the Hulk in the 2003 movie. Yeah, but we don't talk about that. We don't talk about 2003. It's it's probably one of the most it's probably one of the better comic book adaptations in regards to like the style of the movie, but it was a piss poor movie. It was a piss poor movie. So no, it's all good. Shidoko says here, I would say they could CGI him like Tarkin in Rogue One, but that might come across as very tone deaf. Oh, very tone deaf. All right.
Ooh.
You guys are right. It's Eric Bana, not David Bana. I should have caught that. You guys are right. I'll be honest, I did not get my nap today. So I'm still drinking. I'm nursing a rock star to stay up for fucking Boba Fett. So that's one of the reasons why. But I don't know. I mean, before we move on here, Jimbo, do you think they should recast him, or should they just kind of like the character or the actor, give it, keep the mantle going to somebody else, or not?
I mean, like when I think about like recasting the character of T'Challa, I think that's probably one of the easier things that they if they want to continue with it being T'Challa as the Black Panther, because that's obviously like one of his bigger roles in the MCU is just being Black Panther, not only the King of Wakanda but the Black Panther. So if they want to continue a story like T'Challa's story, they're gonna have to recast, because if they do any other method such as like CGI, it's just gonna piss people off and it's not gonna be right. So if that's one way they could do it, but if they just simply want to pass the mantle on to Black Panther, they could easily do that. Be like, T'Challa just wants to be the king, so we have to find a new Black Panther or something like that. That's a poor way of doing it, but obviously they have better writers and stuff like that. But they could just simply just recast or find a different Black Panther within Wakanda that we've seen before. And M'Baku's a decent choice, but I'm trying to figure out, like, isn't he the character that's in the mountains?
Yeah, he's like the gorilla tribe or whatever it is.
Jabari, I think it's
Jabari. Thank you. I don't remember their names. But no, but for one, Winston Duke is badass. I like Winston Duke a lot. He was awesome as M'Baku, and it just seems like the natural choice to have him take on the mantle.
Yeah, he's a great fighter too.
I just don't quite know. Although Dr. Ratchet here says, "What about Tyler Perry?" One Above All says Medea in Wakanda. I mean, listen. Hear me out for a second. They shot part of Black Panther in Tyler Perry Studios. All right. So like, all things considered, would it be that much out of the way to all of a sudden bring in Medea to just walk through Wakanda and go, oh hell no,
dude? Oh my gosh. I love Tyler Perry's classic Medea movies. The ones that he's been making like recently have been trash, like Witness Protection, trash. But like, oh, that'd be so funny. Just have a cameo of Medea.
That'd be a very odd thing, but it could work. You never know. Now, Stamina here makes a good point. It says they should postpone the film and build the world of Wakanda via the announced Disney Plus series first, taking more time to re-envision the film. Yeah, you're right. But the problem though is that these movies are massive moving parts. and a lot of people are involved, and also in regards to the pandemic. Like the pandemic has just kind of uprooted everything. They had to reevaluate how they were going to film these movies and what they were going to do. So they probably didn't want to get too far behind, because remember, they missed all of 2020, which is why we got 5 Marvel series this year and 4 Marvel movies this year. That's a lot of fucking Marvel.
Yeah, and it just like they came prepared. They had stuff to go, and it was really good. It's like every month there's some sort of Marvel content coming out, and it's been great. It's like, dude, like it feels spread out a little bit more. They could cover more ground, but since like they're kind of getting stuff going, like we have Doctor Strange 2 coming out, but I don't know what is there anything coming out after Doctor Strange in Marvel? I
so yeah, you've got Doctor Strange 2. What else? Hold on, yeah, let me look at the MCU 2022 releases, because I forget.
Thor as well.
Oh yeah, Thor Love and Thunder I think is going to be after that.
Yeah.
All right, so just what's coming Marvel related. You have Morbius next month. Then Doctor Strange 2. Then Thor Love and Thunder is going to be 2 months later. Is going to be that. So it's going to be right after 4th of July weekend, which makes very little sense, to be fair. And then they're going to do part 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, later on in the year. And then Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out just a month later in November. So only 3 movies from Marvel Studios directly, but there's going to be 5 total Marvel properties hitting theaters next year, 2 of which are related to Spider-Man, which is badass. And then, of course, you've got the Moon Knight series, you've got She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Secret Invasion. Also, I Am Groot, and the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. So again, what we're talking about here is we're talking Marvel content, like every single month. Again, like something related to Marvel every month, and I think that's what's going to be happening going forward. It just makes the most amount of sense.
With Disney Plus, like they can easily, since they have Disney Plus and they can put Marvel content constantly on there and keep promoting that service, it's a good idea to constantly have something going out so people don't feel like there's like a need to cancel Disney Plus if they're just simply getting it for Marvel. Not only because there's a lot of Star Wars content later tonight, but I really love that there's always something. You always have something to look forward to month to month to month. And it's like, it's a very good business plan, and they're just on top of the game. Like they have, like, it just shows like they have a set plan and just sticking to it and then proceeding through it. It's pretty nice compared to DC, which it's kind of like they got a couple projects in the works, but it's like not a set plan. Marvel's on top of it.
Marvel's on top of it. We all know where DC is. There's no need to go down that pathway right now. I've had enough of that shit today, to be honest with you. Benson here says, the way Disney is going, they will give Black Panther Girl to Laverne Cox. That is, come on, dude. Come on. Laverne, I mean, look, I'm telling you, Laverne would probably nail it, to be fair. Have you seen Orange is the New Black? Damn. You know what? She's sassy.
I've never seen that show.
She's Laverne Cox is a trans actress. And so, yeah, that's what he's talking about. He's being cheeky. If you know Benson's humor, which at this point I believe I do, then you know exactly kind of where he sits with there. Now, Mystic Shadow says Kevin Feige should be, or Forge, I guess, should be very careful before he closes the door on T'Challa. I mean, he should be. I don't think he's going to close the door on it entirely. I think at the end of this movie, we're going to find out who's going to be the Black Panther. I don't think it's going to be Letitia Wright. I feel the controversy surrounding that character might end up kind of canceling it. Rational Skeptic for $5. Thank you, man. It says some critics are saying that Marvel should do some standalone Elseworld films, such as Elseworld Captain America or Iron Man. Your thoughts? Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. And I say that not to diminish the people that want to see Elseworld stories. I say fuck that shit because I have not invested the last fucking near 14 years of my shitty ass life into these movies for all of a sudden to go like, hey guys, you know how we said everything was connected? Yay! Ha 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 ha! Not anymore. Go fuck yourself, you little bitches. Like, no, fuck that shit. I don't care about that shit. I don't want that shit. I'm good. I am good. I don't want alternate reality stories. like Laszlo here says. I mean, look, I'm not against them. I don't want them theatrical, man. I don't want them theatrical. All right, I don't want them theatrical. I'm okay with it not being theatrical. Stamina here says MCU will never reboot. Rebooting basically says everything you've seen ain't shit. Tell that to DC.
Yeah, that's my huge issue with DC. And yeah, we went through the whole Flash stuff, but yeah, that's a huge problem. And that's why I love that Marvel though, because even though they had a lot of bad movies, like some couple bad movies, I was gonna say a lot, but really it's been like a couple. But they stuck with it. They had a couple like flops, but they still stick with it, and it's just for sake of continuity, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh no, really. They've held on to it, and that's the great thing. Benson here says, "What about John David Washington?" I mean, I could not see John David Washington as like T'Challa necessarily. But if you want to, I could see him as someone like Jon Stewart in the in like Green Lantern. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's kind of like where he might be best suited. But then again, who knows what his range is? I'm not too familiar with what his range might be. He's a good actor. He's Denzel's kid, for fucking Christ's sake. Give the kid whatever the fuck he wants. Like if Denzel Washington's son, like again, comes into a Marvel meeting and goes like, all right, guys, here's who I want to play. Reed Richards. And they'll be like, and it'll be like, I'll get my dad Denzel to pop up. And they'll be like, all right, cool. Let's get Denzel. Let's get this, just so, let's put Denzel in the movie just so we can yell out Denzel. If you guys have ever seen the Final Fantasy Advent Children animated movie, you know what I'm talking about with that Denzel shit. But also, Duck Dodgers here, thank you, buddy, says Matrix 4 had the worst final line end scene. Well, here's the thing with that. I've never seen that. I haven't watched it yet. I just have not had the chance to do it. So, but I understand that a lot of people out there were not happy with it, which is why it's kind of funny you bring that up, because I saw this article today over on Comic Book Resources that says The Matrix Resurrections producer James McTeague says there are currently no plans for a sequel. And that makes a lot of sense. Now, James McTeague, just for those of you who are unaware, he directed V for Vendetta, which is one of my absolute favorite movies. And then also he did Ninja Assassin, which was actually a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It came out like a couple years later. It's a really dumb movie, but it's like, it's like a white guy directing Ninja Assassins that's produced by the Wachowskis. You're like, this wouldn't fly in modern age, but you know what? In the pre-2010s, it was okay. But the thing is, look, man, I from my understanding, and again, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm only speaking to my understanding of it. They weren't planning on setting up another prequel, like another trilogy. Like, this is meant to just kind of be a bookend.
Though. I heard that they were kind of like maybe like planning like in early developments of this film before it even trailers. I heard that there's like potential like for another trilogy based on what goes on in this movie, and I've heard that up until the release. But then once the release of this movie hit, it's just like now it's just dropped off. Like now they're just rad. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But now they're not even continuing it, and so I'm like, interesting. So where are these articles now saying that there's going to be a new trilogy now?
Well, I mean, like I said, people out there, I think the whole concept of all of this is very, it's very much one of those things where, Hollywood operates from how much of a franchise it can make. And, they're trying to capitalize on the Matrix. They're trying to capitalize on all this kind of stuff. And obviously this one is just failing to connect. It could be the movie itself. I don't know. I haven't seen it. It could be going up against Spider-Man No Way Home. And that, when it's coming out, it could be a mixture of the theatrical versus the streaming release. I mean, HBO Max has increased exponentially in subscribers this year. So obviously I think The Matrix is going to do well when we find that out. The other part of that is, they just, here's what I think they want to do. And what I think will happen in regards to the DCE stuff, and that's going to be a Matrix television show. I have a feeling it's going to continue on HBO Max, but who knows what it could be. A prequel, it could be whatever. At this point, they probably need to start expanding the lore of the Matrix, and once they expand the lore of the Matrix, I think a lot of people will probably come back around. So maybe they're not planning for a sequel specifically, but they might be looking to do something that's going to down the road end up becoming a thing. So I don't know. I mean, look, I want them to continue in the Matrix. I love the Matrix, but you know, I haven't heard a lot of good things about this movie, the fourth one, which might be one of the reasons why I haven't rushed out to go and watch it yet. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. With any luck, we'll get something. We'll find out something soon. Who knows? I keep hearing wait for a merger. Maybe the merger is going to be what tells me, right? I don't know. But all right. So let's quickly dive over to. This is a fun one here. Have you seen Squid Game yet?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
All right. Would you agree that out of all the shows this year, Squid Game is probably the best?
Dude, Squid Games, like, even though I had subtitles on and I had to, like, pause at certain scenes because the subtitles went too quick, I watched a show in a day. It was very good. And I think it probably was one of the best shows, if not the best show of this year.
Yeah. It was, it very much, to me, it's very, very, very much, the show with the most amount of things to say.
Oh, it was really, really good. And they definitely could do season 2. They definitely could do season 2.
Yeah. Well, they are. I mean, that's the whole thing, though. You don't do a show for $21 million, effectively, and then have it become the biggest show in the world for a brief period of time with an impact value that is somewhere in the neighborhood of $971 million, so just under $1 billion.
Huge profit. And
huge profit for Netflix on this one.
Yeah.
And then all of
the director or someone involved like renegotiate their payment or something like that because of the success of the show. Wasn't that like a certain article?
I'm sure there's some things like that. People are going to want more money now because now there's money to be made, you know, and there's a lot of money to be made. I've even seen people. I don't want to say it because people who haven't seen it yet, I don't want to spoil anything. All I've heard is like one character, like there's rumors that one character might come back, and it's like, no, I don't think so. However, not only though are they working on setting up season 2, but they're also negotiating for season 3, and that's the big news. Is that what they're going to do? Is they're going to show us a lot of stuff. They're going to set up because the way that the end of the season sets up what's going to come next is very kind of crazy for something that they wanted to just do for one season. But whatever they're going to do with that is going to be very fascinating in regards to just expanding upon the lore, I believe, of what it is and giving us a lot more backstory. And so you're going to get a lot of that, and then whatever's going to happen in season 3. But I'll say this. I think that they should do season 2, season 3, and then end it.
Yeah. I don't... The fact that they're even, like, talking about season 3 before even season 2 comes out is a little much. I mean, it's good to pre-plan, because I know season 2 is going to be also a big success, because everyone loves season 1, so they're going to definitely watch season 2, so that's a given. But I think if you want to plan like that way ahead, I think you should kind of... like see how season 2 goes, and then if it does really well and people really love the story and want to see more of it, they should already have stuff planned, and then they just have to execute it and film it.
Yeah. I agree. I think that having a plan, getting there to the end, having Netflix say, okay, we're going to do this, because that's my biggest problem when it comes to television, is that like I really feel like these showrunners, that when they pitch a show to a network, they have to get in that contract that there has to be a finale. That there has to be a finale, that if you choose to not renew it for the whole season, that you renew it for enough for us to get the story finished. Because at that point, the audience is not left hanging. So, I don't know.
I mean, I would think so season 2, you said that they're like kind of like the plan, or like kind of what you've heard is that they're doing like a backstory, or is that what you want?
Well, what I want is for them to obviously I want them to I want to know where it began. I want to know more about the front man. And like what led into that. because there were some questions about the timing of certain things that kind of didn't really add up to me. But then again, it could also be like how people conduct themselves outside of the game. So I don't know. I want to know like really what it was in regards to like the people at the, like everything with the ending of it with like the viewers and stuff, and what happened with that. And then I want to know like, you know, how is it only relegated to this particular place? Is it only relegated to this particular island? Is it around the world? Are there more facilities?
Yeah,
You know, like how widespread is a Squid Game? And like, you know, is Ilnam, was he involved in it, or was he just involved with this particular one? Like, did he create it here and then go from there? I don't know. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely love to see that and see kind of like the origins of like basically like how the concept was of this game, and then overall like how it progressed. Like, what was the starting? Was it always this highly funded? I don't think so. It's probably started way small. So it'd be cool to see the progression of it until we get to here. But I would, yeah, I'm not gonna say that because I don't know if people have seen all of season 1 yet. But to continue what happened after season 1 would be a huge starting point as well for any sort of season 2 or season 3.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. I definitely, I'm intrigued because like the thing with Squid Game is that show was compelling from beginning to end. I know I saw, one guy, I say that he thought, okay, Nightcrawler here says Squid Game overrated. I was hyped and then let down by how average it was. I fell asleep by episode 3. I don't know how you can not be jazzed up after watching like the ending of episode 1. Because that shit was fucked up. Right? And then episode 2 is a bit of a slower one, obviously. But then episode 3 starts to ramp itself back up. And then wait till you get to the end of episode 5. Fuck. You know, like there's some cliffhanger shit on that one. And I started watching it. I watched like the first 6 episodes. Right? And like the first sitting. And then like I got up and then the next day when my kids went down for a nap, I ended up just finishing up the season. Like, so it was, I really, really, really liked it. But I don't think it's boring. I think it's pretty fantastic though. And let's see here. Kira says, isn't this the kind of thing that went on with the Cube franchise? I don't remember like what happened with Cube Zero and Hypercube. I never saw them. I saw the original and I liked the original. It was very weird, but I enjoyed it. It was a very odd Canadian movie. So let's check that one out there. All right. Laszlo here says Squid Game seems interesting, but there are a few shows that are similar to that vibe. So that kind of makes me not interested in seeing it right away. I'd rather see season 2 of Darwin's Game. Well, the thing about Squid Game is it's not that there's a vibe there that's kind of similar, Hunger Games, things like that. But the thing with Squid Game is that it's a power dynamic between the ultra mega rich and the downtrodden. It's about societal warfare, class warfare, things like that. And how far people get themselves caught up in these situations where they need to get out of it, and what will they do to get there, and all based around playing like children's recess games. You know what I mean? It's very interesting to wait and see on that one. And we got ourselves a new member. All right, thank you very much, Duck Dodgers 24.5. Thank you so much, man. Welcome to the party, pal. NX here says that Squid Game doesn't really do anything new. It got hyped because it's Korean. It's good, but not earth-shattering. I mean, look, I think given 2021, given the economic disparity that we've seen in certain parts of the world, especially with the pandemic and everything else, and like how certain people have gotten rich, other people have gotten poor during the last year, almost 2 years now, I think it spoke to a lot of people. So it's definitely like, I see your point, but I feel like there's a reason why it picked up the way that it did. And it's not just the ultra violence. Summate here says everyone is more hyped for Cobra Kai season 4. I don't know. I've never seen Cobra Kai outside episode 1. So I know I got to watch it. Dr. Ratchet says Squid Game and Escape Room are very similar. Are they though? I mean, I know they're both about playing a game, but are they? I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that. I'd say it's a little bit on the different side, perhaps. But you know what, though? As always, I'm very happy to see where things go, and I want to. I definitely want to dive in. So let's talk about this news. This is so Ghostbusters 2016, the gift that will never die. It's definitely not is definitely not something that I ever want to see again. But there was last week there was an announcement that Sony is getting ready to launch a $150 Ultimate Ghostbusters Collection DVD 4K UHD box set. It comes with a whole litany of special features. You got the original script, a shooting script for Ghostbusters 1. You get the films in Blu-ray and 4K. I think there's even, I saw today, there's going to be a special like extended edition of Ghostbusters, or like an alternate edition of the original Ghostbusters that's going to be on there. And you get Ghostbusters 2, and then you get Ghostbusters Afterlife. But there was missing Ghostbusters 2016. And of course, a lot of people out there were on Twitter crying up a storm about all that, right? They're crying up a storm. Oh my God, why about 2016? Right? And the rest of us are out there clapping, applauding Sony for having the balls, having the courage, dare I say it, to acknowledge that the 2016 attempted reboot was a pile of herpes. It was bad, guys. Okay. It was bad. It wasn't funny. And then unfortunately, King of the Golden State here says it best. Shit. They caved because Paul Feig came out and cried about how Ghostbusters 2016 was not included in the set. And so Sony has said today that they're going to be adding a digital version to the upcoming Ultimate Collection 4K HD set. So it's not the 4K disc. It's just a digital code. But did you know, Jimbo, did you know that Sony has been trying to pawn off that fucking shit for a long ass time?
Yeah, I've heard what they've done. They kind of threw it in for free or something like that, and certain things. No.
Oh yeah, no, they're very much just like, please someone watch our movie, take our movie, buy our movie.
Loved by someone.
Yeah, I know. They're like tens of people like Ghostbusters 2016. Please buy the movie. I don't know. I just, man, look, it was a massive, unmitigated dumpster fire. I mean, maybe that's going too far, but let's be fair. It was a misfire. They screwed up. They, and I'm seeing articles now. I'm seeing these articles now that are saying things like, 2016 was underappreciated and we need to acknowledge the success of 2016 and we need to acknowledge that they understood the franchise better than the original Ghostbusters. I mean, we're talking all of these hot takes that make you want to just take a melon baller and claw out your eyes from ever having to read this nonsense ever again. That's how bad it has gotten with this kind of revisionist history apologetics coming out from people who don't want to admit that the movie was bad. And the thing is, again, the movie could have been better if it just would have been edited better or had any kind of stakes or had a better villain or a lot of stuff that went wrong with it. And and there's no point of really going back and relitigating everything. But a lot of it though is pretty funny nonetheless. So we'll have to see how many people kind of freak out. But I do want to look here at some of these tweets and see what people are saying about this. So it's not too much here. 4 quote tweets. What are they saying here? It's the most important of all the Ghostbusters franchise, so it should have been added from the start. I don't know if this is a troll image or what is that. That's it's Final Fantasy something or another. I don't know. It is not though. It's not the best one. Otaku says DLC shit, basically. And then I said here, no thank you. Even a digital copy of Ghostbusters 2016 devalues a collection. And then I don't know what Leo here says. Translated says sad. Big defeat for the fans. I love it. I absolutely love it. But here we go. Why nobody's going to see this. He'll probably went to go or no going to see it. Nobody went to go see it when it was in the theaters. This Daniel here says he likes it. Sean says here, it's the second viewing where I realized the biggest flaw. They didn't play it straight. It could have been a solid movie if the actors weren't playing exaggerated versions of themselves. And that right there is the whole point. That's the whole point. But you got to love Brownie here saying printing it on paper so people can trash that movie all over again. I saw someone in the chat say that too. Thought that was pretty funny. And of course, Sky Captain here. That's some funny shit. It's very funny. It's very terrible. Oh, look, someone tagged John Campia. I'm kind of curious. Am I still blocked? Still blocked. Okay. Still blocked by Campia. There you go. But no, really, when you think about it, when you really think about it, you have got a ton of people that that don't like the movie, and it's, again, people are like not gonna, people who are gonna buy it are not gonna buy it for 2016. It did not move toys. It did not move merch, as far as I can tell. And even my girlfriend, who has no real connection to the movie, you know, even she came out and said, like, after we got done watching it, she just goes, can we get our money back on that? Like, is it possible? It was like, it was terrible. And then Geekster says, I've been blocked by Campia. Dr. Ratchet said, this movie was the reason why I got into Ghostbusters, so I would not have seen Afterlife if not for it. You are lying. You are lying, Ratchet. I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. But Mystic Shadows here makes a great point. This Ghostbusters 2016 is the reason they shouldn't kill off T'Challa. Way to bring it back home, Mystic. Way to bring it back home. I agree with you, buddy. I agree with you. All right, so for the final topic of the night, because we are kind of getting closer now, the 18-minute mark until Book of Boba Fett, this is a fun little thing that popped up today as well. A little bit of trivia. Here. So when James Cameron initially pitched Aliens to the studio executives at Fox, what he did is he wrote Alien on a whiteboard and then added a big-ass S and then says, but here's what it's going to translate to. Then I drew 2 lines through the S to make it a $sign. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. I love that. Because here's the thing about Hollywood. All right, here's the thing about Hollywood. Never bet against James Cameron. Never bet against Cameron. He is consistently and you know, always been on the forefront of shit. And, you know, even though like his producer efforts like Terminator Dark Fate and, you know, Alita like did okay, you know, like he's clearly better as a director because he doesn't like to have to share with anybody else. I think Alita worked out well because Rodriguez is fantastic, which is why I can't wait for Book of Boba Fett. But, you know, Tim Miller with him and Terminator Dark Fate didn't really work out very well, obviously. Now, what I would love to see happen, right? What I would love to see happen is if they were ever going to revisit the Alien franchise again, that would be fantastic. And I would love to see exactly, you know, Cameron come back, or at least like executive produce, like write the story and shit, you know, because he expanded the Alien mythos and created 2 demographics of Alien fans. Have you ever noticed that, Jimbo? That you have your one fan who is very much, you know, you have your Alien diehard Ridley Scott fan, right? The slow, methodic killer, you know, like a horror movie in space, right, sort of thing, creature feature in space. Then you get the Cameron approach to it, which is the Space Marine, violence, you know, flamethrower, you know, like exoskeleton versus the Queen, get away from her, you bitch, like that, like all those lines, like, you know, nuke it from orbit, right? We're all gonna game over, man, game over and shit. Tons of quotable lines in Aliens, and it had like even in the deleted scenes, they had the automatic turrets, right? The motion sensor turrets and shit that ended up later on in the video games. So there's a lot there in the Alien movie that just spoke to like the wider variety of action fans from the 80s. It really is a remnant of its time, and it's held up very well over the span of the last near 40 years or 35 years, I think, almost. So that's kind of a big deal where they, you know, they've been able to do all this. And I would like to see them continue that. But obviously I don't want, like, I'll be fair, I do not want a continuation of the Prometheus and Covenant storyline. Yeah, I didn't feel it worked.
Prometheus was interesting. Alien Covenant was... I would rather watch Prometheus than Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant was okay. It just... There's a lot of things that were wrong with it and just kind of were intriguing. And I thought, like, when it came out that people were calling out a lot of plot... differences that kind of don't work, and same with Prometheus. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those movies, but they're not terrible. They're kind of, the style of them is interesting.
Well, I mean, I liked Prometheus for what it was. and I liked I liked it for that. I wanted to like Covenant. I really didn't want to like Covenant. And I was not able to kind of get myself into it. I saw it one time 4.5 years ago when it came out, and I have yet to go back to it to enjoy it. I just have not cared about it at all. It just has not interested me like in the slightest to just kind of go, all right, well, that's something worth seeing. I don't know. And then of course, Ridley Scott wants to do the final one. And now we got Disney in charge. And after the last Duel cost $100 million and bombed, what was the other Ridley Scott movie that came out that he did? Oh yeah, The House of Gucci, that also kind of crapped out. I don't think Disney's going to be like, hey, do you want $100 million to go do another Covenant movie? Can we get Michael Fassbender back as David and tell the story of the ship crash landing on LV 426? Okay, but I agree with Kira here. I just want it bookended. You're right. That's the only thing about that I would like. McLeodry says, I recommend playing Aliens Colonial Marines with the overhaul mod. Completely fixes the game in regards to enemy/Xeno AI, friendly AI, lighting, gun mechanics. Man, I was so mad about Alien Colonial Marines. That game, I got that game. I didn't buy it. I rented it from Redbox like the week it came out. And I was going to go buy it, but it was like, $5 to rent for a couple days versus like $60. And I played it with my friends. We did a co-op on hard mode on the hardest difficulty. And it was like, it was not hard. And it wasn't very fun. And so I would, just kind of like, no. But then there's that new one that just came out, the Alien Fire Team, I think.
Yeah.
And that's now free to play on Xbox Game Pass. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a download and check it out. But like dude, fucking Alien Isolation. 7 years ago that game came out, and it was such a good game.
I heard it's good. I haven't played it yet. Yeah, but I've heard.
I played it and beat it when it came out. It was great. I mean, like, well, okay, I will say this: the beginning and the end were awesome. Middle part, it dragged on. It dragged on because you start dealing with like synthetics, as like a different kind of enemy than the Xeno. And there's a few times you fight humans in the game. I felt it needed more of that, but obviously they're trying to go for more of like a survival horror aesthetic. But the atmosphere was really good. The graphics were really good. The gameplay was a lot of fun. And it's one that I would, like to see if that was a movie. If they're looking to adapt an Alien project or they want to do something, get the fucking Alien Isolation. Adapt that into a movie. It's all about Ripley's daughter. Like, on the Ivestropol, I think is the name of the space station. And it would be a really good, it could harken back to the feel and style of the original. Creature feature, you're on the run, you're alone on the space station, you don't know what's going on, there's a lot of shit going on, faction warfare, synthetics, aliens, Xeno, all the shit. And then make that your movie. And I think that would print money because it's a very easy story to adapt. True. And it looks and feels like it's from the 70s.
Yeah, I mean, from the gameplay I've seen, I think it would be cool. But like, if they just kind of like did that story, like you said, Ripley's daughter, and then kind of made it in the style of the original Aliens, and kind of that, like, you got all the stuff going down on one ship, so it's just condensed to one simple setting. It won't cost too much to make a set, and it'll just be making different parts of the ship, so it'll cost them a little less and making a ton of different sets and stuff like that, so it would save them money there. And I think it would be a good successor to all the films that we've liked, like Aliens and Alien. Like, I would really love to go back to the original kind of plot and story about that and get that feel of Alien again.
Oh yeah, no, that'd be great, man. I mean, it boils down to either Alien or what's the word? It's either Alien or like Aliens, really. Alien, but then again, Fincher's Alien 3 wasn't terrible. I mean, like, look, it's watchable. Okay, it's watchable.
It's okay. But it's
I mean, like, terrible. The studio fucked around, but like, I watched it as a kid. I liked it. I mean, it's watchable. Alien Resurrection. That's a movie. That's a movie.
I just skipped that one when I was younger and I watched all of them. I just skipped that one.
Now, I mean, like, I like it for the fact that, like, it's, you know, there's, like, I saw that movie stoned out of my mind. And, like, when it came out, we went behind the movie theater and, like, smoked a bowl and then went in. And I was like, the part when, like, they started showing all, like, the Ripley clones, all the deformed Ripley clones, I started getting, like, I almost threw up from how gross it was, you know? It's like, I got to go back and revisit those movies again. I really like them. I do. And then you get something like, again, Predator would be a great one to see come back. I'm looking for, you know, in a good way, I guess. I haven't seen Shane Black's The Predator, but I've heard nothing but bad things about it. Yeah.
It's. I mean, I haven't seen any reviews on it, so I don't know how people perceived it. But it wasn't bad. It could have been better. It just did not feel. It just. Yeah. I don't know. It was definitely interesting. It set up some other movies, and I just don't know what happened to it. Maybe I think aren't they doing like a Predator show, or am I?
They are doing. Yeah, they're doing. Well, no, they're doing a Predator movie. It's called Prey. It's about a predator and like taking on an indigenous woman back in like the like in like the 1800s or some shit.
Ooh, okay, that would be
and it's directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Okay, now that.
And are you a fan of Black Mirror at all?
Oh, I love that show.
Remember the episode with Wyatt Russell when he's doing the beta test for the video game inside the haunted house?
Wyatt Russell. Oh yeah.
Dan Trachtenberg also directed that episode.
Okay.
So
that show is great though.
Yeah, to give you an idea for what to expect out of this, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out, I agree with Mladen there that Predators from 2010 was not trash. That was actually a solid movie that actually did really well. And that was, again, Rodriguez produced, ladies and gentlemen. Rodriguez produced, which is why we have 7 minutes until the Book of Boba Fett. Just to kind of give everyone a reminder of that. We're going to be wrapping this up in just a couple minutes here. So get your final questions in. Benson here with £5. My God. How sad that someone in their lounge wants to talk about Batfleck, but makes it all about you. Could he get any more ridiculous with the Snyderverse denial? Now, I was told a few minutes ago that apparently, I don't know, the high amount of money that came in last night, mostly through doing ridiculous karaoke, and very gracious support from the audience here. I don't know. Like, apparently they're talking about it over there on the lounge, I guess. I don't know. I heard about it. I don't know. I don't care. Look, I don't care. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not trying to start a lot of shit here. But, like, I do feel that there are people out there who do preach false hope for these particular subjects. And I tell you what, I could maybe be more tactful with how I broach those subjects, how I approach them, and how I explain them in my mind. Sure, I could, fine. I get that. I'm a bit stubborn. I'm a bit of a blunt object every once in a while. I get that, but I stand by my convictions, and I stand by the fact that I think that, I don't think things are continuing. And I feel like we're just people who, just want to hold on to it because that's kind of what their identity is. And that's not my identity. Obviously I think last night kind of showed that we had a lot of fun. So it wasn't like I made, the $768 on the stream last night by simply just talking about Zack Snyder, but people are trying to frame it that way, and that's okay. They have the ability to do that. It's just patently wrong, like believing the Snyderverse will continue. Oh, bow, bow, bow. There we go on that one. Anyway, all right. So that's all the subjects I got for tonight. Went through a pretty good show, hour and 40 minutes, not bad. Thankfully, we are up on a timer, 5 minutes to go. I'm just gonna bring up my own Disney Plus. RJ is going to be doing a live watch and reaction over on his Twitch. I don't know if I have that. Your Twitch stream. All right. I don't know necessarily about that, like where he's going to be live on that, because I can link that to you guys real quick if you wanted to check that out.
He's going to be live on both YouTube and
yes, but on Twitch he'll be showing the episode. So he's doing the Twitch so I think it's probably twitch.com/ like like Resonant Justice or something. You could probably find it on there. I'm not going to do a live. I'm not going to do a live watch party on it. I will do a video after it's over, giving my thoughts. And I might jump over to RJ's stream for a few to kind of give my thoughts locally there. But either way, I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's going to be happening here. This is something I've been waiting for so long, and it's finally here, and that feels super, super freaking weird that it's finally here. Also, Disney Plus is promoting that the Eternals will be appearing on Disney Plus. When is this one?
January 12th.
January 12th. So just like a week, like 2 weeks and shit. So that's definitely something to look forward to on that one. So we take a quick couple. Okay. Seamus here says it didn't drop early in the Great Lakes. Give it like 3 minutes. Should pop up about 3 minutes is what it's going to do. But I think on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up so I can go use the bathroom before I sit down to watch this. Again, thank you all so much for coming on in. Thank you, Jimbo, for coming on in and hanging out with me. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys again for all the super chat support tonight. You guys are great, as always. I love you. I'll be back on tomorrow night. Let me know your thoughts about Boba Fett. I'm going to post my review, my little thoughts on it here when the episode is over, and then I'll probably head over to RJ's to talk about it over there. So look up Resonant Justice on Twitch. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great night, and peace the fuck out.